Good morning, peeps. Deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well on this Saturday morning. If you're in a different time zone, whatever time zone you're in, hope you're doing well. Over the last 9, 10 hours or so, you've seen Denis Suarez to Arsenal. The links that have been here for a couple of weeks now intensify. Allegedly, Arsenal and Chelsea wanted him. He's allegedly chose Arsenal now, and talks are at an advanced stage. And I must admit, the January transfer window is starting off with a bang. You're seeing a lot of stuff or a lot of movements. And obviously, when you're seeing, obviously, I think Pulisic has his own questions, but when you're seeing Chelsea sign Pulisic, you're seeing City sign Mahrez and these man there, Liverpool signing all these bad boys and linked with Fekir, I can understand first and foremost where the frustration would come from with Arsenal fans with seeing Denis Suarez, because it does show a shrewd investment. It does show probably the austerity measures that are in place. Allegedly, it's going to be 10 million. Now, I've got nothing against bringing the player in. I will say this though, you guys typically hear me give the example of I've seen many technically blessed footballers that haven't really done anything in football, and I've seen, while I think some people are good footballers, not necessarily as blessed technically, but they do things. Let's look at Dele Alli and Denis Suarez. Now, Denis Suarez has obviously played for Barcelona, which is a more reputable club than Dele Alli, but who's got a bigger name in the whole footballing world? It's Dele Alli, because Dele Alli is consistent at what he does best, scoring goals, linking up. And you wouldn't, and I'm not saying Dele Alli hasn't got good technical ability. I'm just saying you wouldn't necessarily say he's an excellent technician, but he's on job. And then you've got Denis Suarez, who has all the technical ability in the world, in my opinion, but for one reason or another hasn't hit the heights projected when he left Celta Vigo, when I was watching him at Manchester City, or even in, I believe it was 2012, it could be 2013, but the 2012 under-19s championships. He's a good player. He is a decent player. He's just, I don't want to say average. I've been trying to avoid the word average because I don't think there's necessarily wrong with signing average players or being an average player if you're consistent. But for some reason or another, he hasn't gone to the next level. Now, I personally feel, oh yeah, it's worth remembering people. He's 24 years of age. He literally turns 25 tomorrow. Personally, the reason I have is because he's got a lack of goals. Why he's got a lack of goals, all you need to look at is his Barca appearances. Again, we have to be fair to him to a degree, because not all of it is clearly 90 minutes. He was more or less or is a subs player at Barcelona on a regular basis, not in the squad. In fact, he's only played 70 minutes of La Liga football over 2 appearances this season. But in 69 Barcelona appearances, 8 assists, 10 goals. For Villarreal, 48 appearances, 12 goals, 5 assists. 5 goals, 12 assists, sorry. For Seville in 46 appearances, where he probably knows Unai Emery from, 46 appearances, 6 goals, 5 assists. So even if I did get it wrong, which I don't think I did, I copied it from Transfermarkt, it shows you a player who's, I'm not be fair to him, again, he should have more assists, but he's got potential in terms of laying on his teammates, but he's just not. When you're in them positions, the 10, the left wing, the right wing, you can play a couple of roles. You need to be able to score goals and assist, and he hasn't done that on a consistent basis, and that's probably what's capping him from going to the next level. He's contracted until 2020. Barcelona want to get rid of a couple of players like him. They obviously, you're seeing them linked with Rabiot now. Allegedly, they want to bring in Delight, Frankie De Jong. They've obviously got Malcolm, who ain't got having too much football. They've obviously got all other sort of central midfield players or players that are based centrally, which is a juggling act. Coutinho's used over the place as well. So what chance does Denis Suarez have? Next to none. I think he's a good player. I think he's technically sound. He's got a good range of passing. He's a good ball carrier. He's fairly paced. He's very energetic. Again, I don't, of course, he's not the same caliber as Mesut Ozil, but I could see possibly how Unai Emery would use him in a system. You could see him probably used in a free in the same way. It's an unofficial free, of course, but in the same way you've seen Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan, and Lacazette, or better yet, it will be Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan. He could be used in that. One thing inclines me to believe he'll be used in a 10 role in the same way that he tried to use Ramsey. He doesn't clearly favour Ozil and the poetry emotion in Ozil. Denis Suarez hasn't got the quality of Ozil, but he's probably got he probably looks like he's working harder and running around more and things like that. He does need to, if he could improve his end product, then you have a decent player. There is a part of me does think there's a little bit of potential to be unearthed, but part of me feels like this is as good as it gets. And I must admit, when I was younger, or preying him when he was younger, because we are the same age essentially, or he's a year above me, I must admit I did rate him a bit higher. Like I said, man, he's got decent pace. He can link up with teammates. He's technically sound, like he would be going through Celta Vigo's academy, in Manchester City's, and obviously Barcelona, playing at Barcelona. You have to be. Barcelona's a different ball game. I don't blame him for going and joining them, but it's a different ball game. So he's more or less a squad role. Um, for 10 million, it's a shrewd investment. Again, we Arsenal, we have hardly any options. Again, I would like a more reputable signing. Of course, someone that would make me think wow, but it's not that time. I think he's decent. He's neither that caliber. He provide decent depth. He provide a decent option within the side. Even if he was on the bench, look at our bench. We've got hardly anyone. Like really and truly, I've said this before. There's no plan B striker, possibly a target man to help you chase games. There's no pacey winger to help you chase games. There's no another defensive mid of sorts to help you see out games. You need these sort of different weapons of sorts on the bench, and I don't think we have that. And I must admit, again, I don't think much of Denis Suarez, to be honest with you. Like I said, beyond being technically great and stuff, it's almost a so what thing. You see this all the time. And he's got good movement. He can drift on either side. He can play a couple of positions. So it is a good signing, a decent signing. It is depth, but it's just alright, cool. That's all it is, people. You can't be ecstatic about this, in my opinion. I'll give him a chance, but it is what it is, man. I'll give him a chance. I'm not going to get on his back. This is a shrewd Arsenal investment. Like I said, he's contracted until 2020. Barca want to sell him. This is where we're at as a football club in terms of the signings we're going for. And to be honest, you might as well put a cheeky tenner on Arsenal going after Seri if Fulham get relegated. I mean, like I said, man, we've got hardly any depth. We're down to our bare bones, so it's a decent investment, man. And what can I say? If the rumours that it is 10 million or so is true, then it's not the end of the world. Personally, I'm trying to hear a centre half, but yeah, man, it's neither the signing to take us to the next level, or you look in big games and like I said with Liverpool, you see Mane, Firmino, Salah, City, all them City man there. All the other teams you can find examples. He's not one of them where you're gonna get inspired about, but we're doing something different than other clubs. This is it, to be honest. It's signings like this where they're not informed. People want to force them out. It's signings like this we're making. This, and hopefully Mislintat is doing his job and can find some unknown gems or unearthed gems, or if they're not unknown, just get us to get the movements done. Because my opinion, or in fact it's a fact, that's why we've missed out on numerous targets, because when we identifying targets at Arsenal's never been our issue. It's getting it done. We could see a nice pair of trainers, the last in stock, and we're just looking at it. Wow, it's a nice pair of Air Max 97s. Wow, and then someone else comes and buys it. That's the sort of stuff Arsenal have been on. So if we can, between identifying and getting movements done, then we might have something. But we're at a different. Clearly, these signings are a reflection of where we are as a football club. We're not. 1 minute we got money, 1 minute we don't. We're not trying to do what Liverpool and them lot are doing, and it comes from the owner. Liverpool want to win trophies. City want to create a dynasty. Arsenal would like to win football matches as they come out and as they show the time, or as Stan Kroenke will come out if we get to a league final. I mean a final in May. I watch all our games. I want us to win the Prem. What happened to the war chest? What happens to this war chest? Who keeps stealing the money? Like, what's going on? And also, our owner doesn't even invest in the club, and to be honest, over the last 18 months or so, we've kind of made a mess of our finances. Not that I'm a finance man, so can we really invest? We're kind of screwed to a degree, so we've got to sit on our hands probably for the next 2 years. In the same way we were told the next 3 years after moving to the Emirates, or that 2012 period, we're going to start doing this thing. You saw Alexis and Ozil coming to the club, you thought, alright, cool, we're going to do this. To a degree, it feels like we moved to the Emirates for nothing. I won't lie to you lot, people. But yeah, man, for someone who's only played 17 minutes of top flight football, it makes sense to him to move. He's reunited with someone that he knows in Unai Emery. It's a fellow countryman. There's obviously countrymen on the staffing book as well, so they'll understand him, help him settle and things. The playing staff, obviously, Bellerin's more or less the same age as him. Monreal can be an older figure to lend advice and stuff. Also need to remember Aubameyang can speak Spanish as well. Czech speaks a lot of languages, not sure if Spanish is there, and we've got a couple other Spanish speakers here and there, and he will fit in. I'm not against the sign. I'm not going to sit here bashing him for being average and being an underwhelming target, which he is, but I think he's decent by the same logic. And while it's not the signing to say I'm going to sit here and say, wow, this definitely boosts our top 4 hopes, it is what it is at this point, man, and it's nice to see there's another option within the side. So yeah, man, just hopefully a centre half of some capacity could follow. But for me anyways, people, I'm out, man. I didn't even want to do this vid. I only like to do these vids when these players are have signed on the dot and are confirmed. But there's too much noise around this signing, and I woke up to too many messages on my WhatsApp and in my comments on YouTube. So yeah, hopefully I've provided my opinions. I'd love to hear yours. I know you lot know more than me, so you lot have something to say. Get in the comments, subscribe, share up the vid, like up the thing for me. I'm out, people. DG.